Please,
the Prez
Prez
is back. It's take 2. We did start take 1, but Andrew got all embarrassed and demanded that we do a redo. We can't tell you what we were talking about, though. But I'm back, and I'm the loud one, according to a lot of the comments. It's Puck Time, our NHL playoff preview show. We're going to look at every series one at a time, and we're also going to look at the futures to who will win the entire thing. 4 of us today. Bold man, how you doing?
All's good, man. It's Tuesday. It's Champions League day. I'm getting ready for some soccer too. Games, and then tomorrow the playoffs kick off. I just love it because this is the time of year in Toronto where all of you Leaf fans get all excited. You start planning that parade.
Okay, enough.
It's not 1 and 5.
Enough.
And it's all over.
Is there a mute button on this? Alex, thanks so much for hosting the last week. You did an amazing job. The comments were outstanding. Some of the guys were hoping I never returned, which is fine by me because, frankly, I was in Whistler and I was hoping I never returned. I had an incredible trip. 5 days of skiing, 3 with my daughter, 2 with my girlfriend, Viv. It was amazing. Got back late last night. And ready to do the show. Andrew, you're in Punta Cana. It's a nice name.
Yeah, having a great time.
You know what a punta is, right?
As you can tell, like Carm was talking about off air, a little bit of sun, a little more than I would have liked. Hopefully it turns into a tan. Having a good time. I saw that you were saying that you did some zip lining as well with your daughter, Prez.
Yep.
I was doing a little excursion. I'm actually going to the sports book, the Hard Rock Casino Cafe casino tomorrow night for that NHL Playoffs. I can't wait for that. And yeah, the weather's great here, but couldn't miss the show. I got a text from you, and I got a tweet from Carm yesterday saying, "Hey, stay sober and stay focused. See you on the show." So here I am.
Yeah, well, it doesn't sound like your sound stayed sober and focused. So listen, I mean, real quick question. I don't know who you're down there with, but are you getting any punta?
We're taking care of business.
Oh, so you're taking care of
Game 1.
What? I put it at -800 that he's getting any action.
All right. On to series 1.
I like how Prez has faith in me. It's a real compliment that Prez has faith in me.
You know what? Andrew, you look good, man. You're nicely shaven. You've got rosy cheeks, or as they would say, sunburn. Alex, what shirt you wearing today?
Just wearing a Hawk shirt. I mean, they're out of it, but it was clean. So
it was clean. You have like 600. You have like 600 shirts, dude. What do you do? Laundry once a decade?
No, it's just the first one I grabbed out of the closet. Really, that's all.
Okay, shall we?
Let's go.
We shall.
Okay, well, let's start with Pittsburgh versus the New York Islanders. Pittsburgh -145 to win the series. The New York Islanders at +125. Interesting line, given that they were both had very similar records. The Islanders have home ice advantage here. My gut feel is that the Pittsburgh Penguins will win this series. I think -145 might be a little bit high for me. But I will tell you guys, watch out for a lot of the unders in this game because I feel like we're going to get a lot of low-scoring games in this series. Alex, I'll go to you first. We have Pittsburgh at -145, but we also have stuff like, winning in Game 7, going 7 games at +190. A sweep at +600. I think if there's going to be a sweep in some of these series, that might be one of them because I think the New York Islanders are in over their head. I'm going to stay away from betting the series, but my lean is on Pittsburgh.
Yeah, my lean's on Pittsburgh as well, and it's hard to try and lay a price when you got a team that's starting out on the road. The Islanders, this is a fun fact, this is the first time they're in the playoffs with home ice advantage in the first round since 1988. That's before even I was born. And so you got a Penguin team. Obviously, we know they know how to win. It doesn't matter where they start, if they're on the home ice or road ice. I'm looking at some of these exact prices. I like Pittsburgh here in 6. You can find that at a 4-1 price at some shop. or you can also that's the cool thing about these series prices now with a lot of these shops is that you don't have to just bet who wins the series. You can pick which game the series ends, you can pick what location, so you can kind of go ways around finding the best price for you if you like a team in one spot or another. So,
and also
Pittsburgh in 6 is better than just laying $1.47.
No, and also, I mean, the prices are very different. I'm using Bet365 for this show, and Pittsburgh in 6 is only plus 200, which I don't like. But if you can find 4-1, Pittsburgh in 6 seems like a great bet to me.
Yeah, BetOnline has the 4-1 price up. So,
Carm, any thoughts on this game? I know you're betting a bunch of these series. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, listen, I took the Isles here. I think, it's always sort of every year in every sport, once you hit the playoffs, it's sort of like the sexy thing to do, to go with the teams that have been there before and are proven. And obviously, the Pittsburgh Penguins are one of those teams. But this is a series that, of course, could go either way, and you can tell that by the line. But the Islanders are so much better defensively.
They are great.
Yeah, they have home ice. I don't think actually in this series home ice matters as much as it does in some of the other series because the Islanders can go to Pittsburgh, win there. I expect Pittsburgh to win one of the 2 games in New York to start. It's just one of those series that could end in 6 on the other teams, in Pittsburgh with the Islanders winning. I don't think home ice is that big here. 2-2 this year between these 2 teams in the season series, with each team winning once away. So I'm taking the plus money here with the Islanders. I just think they're better defensively. Pittsburgh didn't really close strong. We kept waiting for them to go on that run and become that team, kind of like what Washington did last year and sort of did this year. And we'll get to that Washington one later, but I'm taking the Isles tonight.
Andrew,
I'm taking the Isles.
Andrew, before we get to you, I just want to mention really quick, guys, the promo. We've got a monster promo. Alex dropped out, but I'm sure he'll be back in. We've got a monster promo. Cup 99, CUP 99, $99 for any one of us the entire playoffs. That promo is only available till the playoffs start on Wednesday night. Cup 99. And I started the NHL playoffs last year 22-8. I was in the mid-70s for the entire playoffs. This is when I do my best work. I don't know about any of you guys last year. Andrew and Alex wasn't with me, and I think Carm, how did you do in the playoffs last year?
I had a good playoff
season.
Oh,
you were right there with me.
Yeah. Listen.
We are, dude.
I hate to compare sports, but whether it's hockey, whether it's soccer, when anything gets into like a playoff thing where it's team versus team, we saw it with like the MLS playoffs. We saw it with like the Euros. I tend to do a lot better than the regular season. And I had a pretty good regular season, but I expect to have a really good playoffs. I'm not trying to make this an infomercial because it's really not. This is supposed to be a preview show, but
hey,
I think
we got to pay the bills, brother. Cup 99. Andrew, what do you like in this series? Pittsburgh, New York Islanders.
I hope my audio is all right because I know we've had some issues. Prez, how we doing?
No, your audio sucks, dude. I should just have you sitting on the show not talking.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll switch to my phone. Maybe you can make out what I'm saying, but Carm said that the go-to moves usually the teams are more experienced. And as far as this match goes, I don't like where his head is as far as the defense, stuff like that. But I just feel like that will kind of just be the tough part here for the New York Islanders. I think if there really is a series that is a factor, it is this series. People talk about how questionable the goaltending has been for Pittsburgh. But let's keep in mind, Matt Murray is a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. He has always shown up for the playoffs. This team knows how to win in the playoffs. I agree with you, though, Prez. This will be a very defensive series. This will be a very under-type series. I'll be looking to take the unders quite a bit between the 2 teams. keep in mind the excellent goaltending throughout the entire season for the Islanders. And the thing is, though, I'm worried about the depth for the Islanders. They're very top heavy, and if you don't have their top guy showing up, I'd be worried to see where they're going to get their scoring from. So
I don't know how they're top heavy. I don't even know who their top is. But anyway, so Alex, Andrew, and I all believe Pittsburgh will win this series. Alex in 6 at 4-1. And Carm likes the New York Islanders. Make sure to use the promo code CUP99, $99 for any one of us. You can get Andrew and Alex at Sports Memo. You can get Carm and myself at Wager Talk. That also includes Dave Koken and the number one NHL handicapper amongst all of us for this season, Buster Sports. Andrew, you got to keep your answers short, bro. Your audio is terrible. Maybe your right hand for the dog, your left hand for the favorite, and don't talk. Guys, before we get into the next series, I do want to make a comment to all our listeners, and I think this is very important and something relevant to any of these 7-game series, whether it's in the NBA or in the NHL. You have Pittsburgh here at minus 145. If the New York Islanders win the first game, that number is going to swap to Pittsburgh at around plus 140. So if you feel like Pittsburgh is going to win the series, but the New York Islanders will win the first game, wait. And I do that a lot. You'll find, and we'll talk about this on Thursday and on Friday, I'm going to be jumping into series betting after game 1, after game 2. I find that there's a lot of great value there. So guys, keep focused on that. Keep listening to Puck Time. We're going to go all the way to the end of the playoffs. And also remember, First Pitch, which is our baseball version of Puck Time, starts tomorrow with Dave Koken. St. Louis Blues minus 120 against Winnipeg. Look, St. Louis, there probably has not been a hotter team in the second half of the season than St. Louis. But I'm going to tell you right now, I like Winnipeg in this series. I think they get it done. They are plus 100. I think they can win this in 6 at plus 200. I think these two teams are not, I don't think they're equal. I think, Winnipeg has definitely struggled of late. But I think they put it together in the playoffs, and I think Winnipeg wins this series. Carm, we'll go to you first.
I can't agree with you. I think I'm on the opposite side there. I've got the Blues plus 122. I know the Jets won the season series 3-1. The thing with me come playoff time is, and I watch a lot of these teams, obviously all year, but I pay close attention, especially the last month of the season, last 2 months of the season, is how they're playing defensively. Defense is absolutely magnified in the playoffs. Yes, you need your team to score, but you look at teams, and when they play so well defensively, especially at the end of the season, I just have to side with them. You know what I mean? Like there's a reason why they don't have home ice, if I'm correct here, and yet they're favored 122. There's a reason for that. And this is a Winnipeg team that limped into the playoffs. They're limping in. Can they turn it around? Possibly. But I took a futures on St. Louis. I took St. Louis 14-1 to win the Cup, along with Washington at plus 1,100. Tampa Bay is Tampa Bay. But when we're talking about St. Louis, they're in the right half of the bracket. They're not going to have to play until the conference finals, if they make it as far as the conference finals, a San Jose, a Vegas Golden Knights, a Calgary Flames. So they're on the right side of the bracket as far as who they're playing. So for me, it's the Blues to win this series.
Andrew is back. He's now on his phone. Maybe he has better audio. Andrew, St. Louis or Winnipeg?
Prez, you talk about how you think that Carey Price carried the Montreal Canadiens. I think Binnington did quite a good job of doing that for the Blues.
Agreed.
This is why they were a huge under team throughout the entire season. And I think, as far as physicality goes in this series, we can't forget how big of a team this Winnipeg Jets team is, line for line. I think they're going to bump and grind. They're going to, dominate this game, this series physically. To be honest, I'm quite shocked the price that St. Louis is being listed at. I think that Winnipeg gets this done quite easily. I think Winnipeg gets this done quite easily. I really like them in the series. I could see them winning, 4-1 maybe. I just don't. You talk about how you didn't think anybody. You talk about top heavy there, Prez. You were talking about the Islanders. But besides just a few guys for St. Louis, I don't look down their depth chart and see who's going to get the job done for them. When I look at Winnipeg, I can see all kinds of guys that can light things up. And when they're searching for those guys, they're going to be able to be there. And as far as goaltending goes, I'm not worried about the Jets for that either. Hellebuck will show up and be strong in the playoffs. I think this is the year Winnipeg goes quite far. St. Louis the thing is, the saying, guys, defense wins championships. People always say that, and it can apply to so many sports. But I think as far as this one goes, when St. Louis is desperate for that goal, when they're down 2-1, 3-1, they're not going to find it. They're not going to have an answer, I don't think. So I think Winnipeg gets the job done.
Alex?
I've seen this happen a lot of times. You got teams that don't have any glaring superstars or a lot of top-heavy offense. Just absolutely outplay a team that is loaded with stars that can score at times. And I think that's what we're going to see here. I like St. Louis in this series. Jordan Binnington is a goalie you should not be fading right now. 24-5-1 on the season. He's been absolutely excellent. I'm a big Connor Hellebuck fan. I thought he's the guy that said he's going to be one of the top goalies in the world coming up down the stretch. But he just hasn't even – his numbers have been good, but he hasn't been as sharp looking as he has last season when he made that run all the way to the conference final. The fact that the Jets, yes, this is a team that did finally go on and make a long playoff run last year. But this is a Blues squad that just got a little bit more energy, a little bit more pep in their step. I think they're going to be able to slow things down at their pace. And if they can steal one of these first two games in that hostile environment in Winnipeg, I think that, that price obviously right now is already favored at -25. That's going to shoot up tremendously, and I think a lot of value here is on St. Louis. I like this going 7 games, though, and that's what I'm going to be playing. You can find either over 6.5 games in the series at +200, or will it go to a game 7 exactly +200? I think this is going to be a back-and-forth series. Should be a really fun one to watch, but I think St. Louis takes care of business in 7 games.
Carm and Alex like St. Louis. Andrew and I like Winnipeg. You're watching Puck Time. We're on every day on our YouTube channel, Wager Talk TV. Make sure to use the promo code CUP99. $99 for any one of us, our entire NHL playoffs. Columbus at +325 against Tampa Bay at -425. And I'll tell you right now off the bat, I don't think Tampa Bay is going to win it all. I think we've seen this year in and year out. We saw it with San Jose when they won the President's Cup every year for 10 years and couldn't get to the finals. We saw this with Washington many times before they finally put their foot down last year. I think Tampa Bay is the best team in the league, don't get me wrong, but these playoffs are tough. And I think they're going to have trouble in this series. I wish the 325 was a little higher. I think that Tampa Bay, if they get through Columbus, might roll towards the Cup. But I think this is going to be a tougher series than most people think. We've spoken about Columbus throughout the year. This team is stacked with talent. They've got great goaltending. They got the Arthur Fonzarelli as their coach. I want +400 here. Tampa Bay is going to likely win the first game, and then I'm going to take a look and see. My gut feel is to lay off this series, but if I can get Columbus at over +400, I'm willing to take a shot. Andrew, we'll go to you first.
As a Habs fan, I'm disappointed to see Columbus in the playoffs, but that's just the way of the road sometimes. And you look at this team, you look at the effort that they went through to acquire some of these guys like Duchesne, like Panarin at the trade deadline, who are now on their top line. And you see them finally starting to click. And the question was, how long is it going to take for the chemistry to get there? We saw Dzingel starting to score quite a bit. And one of the things that I often talk about is how different playoff hockey really is from the regular season. And I think we'll really find that out in this series. I think, of course, Tampa Bay will move on from this series. But I think, like you, Prez, it'll be a lot closer than many think. I'm a big fan of the physicality aspect of the playoffs. I feel like that really can hurt a lot of teams. And, I'm going through Tampa Bay's lineup here, and you've got guys like, Tyler Johnson, they're just too small, even Palat. And let's face it, I'm a big Canadian guy, and I love Stamkos, but he's no tough guy either. And, when you get in their heads, you bump and grind them along the boards, it throws off their game a little bit. But when it comes down to it, Tampa Bay is obviously going to move on. I think Columbus puts up a fight. I love what you're saying, Prez, about the, middle of the series or in-series betting. It's definitely great. Don't settle for these before it starts, guys. Just wait until, the first game or second game ends. I'm looking at it right here. For Tampa Bay to win the series 4-2, plus 362. I'm actually going to take a small stab at that because I think Columbus can get 2 games under their belt, but that's all they're going to get.
Alex, I think this is going to be the toughest series as far as just like one team pounding all over another. The Fonz is going to have his guys riled up, and they are going to hit everything in sight. What do you think is going to happen in this series?
All right, so we are talking about 7 games in the playoffs and not 7 games in the regular season, correct? Because we're talking about 7 games in the playoffs. There's no way I'm riding with Sergei Bobrovsky, who is in his career 5-14 with a 3.49 goals against and a save percentage below 90%. Especially against the Tampa Bay team that is loaded with offensive talent that can get hot at any moment. You can have any one of the guys. You take your pick, Kucherov, Johnson, Stamkos. Any of them get hot in a couple of games and put this team away completely. And as far as Tampa Bay's toughness go, they held their own pretty well against New Jersey and Boston last postseason, both winning those series in 5 games, both pretty tough teams. Tampa Bay is playing hockey that's meaningful again for the first time in 3 weeks. I think Tampa Bay takes care of work in this series. I like Tampa Bay winning this one in 5 games.
Bald man?
Yeah, I agree with Alex as far as Tampa in 5. It's one of those things. I think they'll win both at home, probably split out in Columbus and come home and win it at home. Yes, Tort's going to have his team ready. He's going to tell them in the dressing room, listen, we're underdogs. Listen, we're supposed to get swept in 4.
I don't know if he'd say listen so many times.
Yeah. But
he might actually.
Listen, he could. It's one of those things. And yes, they could come out and they could be physical. The problem with being physical when you're not usually a physical team throughout the regular season is you draw penalties. You draw penalties against a team like Tampa.
It's over.
We saw it in the last few weeks of the season when the Tampa games were meaningless. And Alex and we tried a couple of times getting in front of that Tampa train and fading them. And they were getting 3 power play goals a game. They were coming. Didn't matter if they were down 2. They came back. They were winning games, meaningless games. I just can't find any way that Columbus takes this past 5 games myself. Anyway, so it's Tampa for me, and it's either a sweep or 5 games at best.
He's Carm. I'm the Prez. Alex and Andrew from Sports Memo with us. Use the promo code CUP99, guys. It's available till tomorrow night. Colorado plus 185 against the Flames. Minus 225. Slightly high for me here, but I think Calgary gets this done and gets this done handily. I would not be blown away at a sweep. Game 4 plus 600. I think Calgary is going to put the smackdown on here, and I think Calgary is a team that could easily go all the way. This team is fast. Their goaltending is finally coming together, and Colorado is just too top heavy. Shut that first line down, and there's nobody else on that team. Alex, we'll go to you first. I like Calgary in 4 at plus 600.
I would look at Calgary maybe in +5. I think Colorado could seal a game. The way Grubauer's been playing, we've seen him down the stretch be really sharp. I can see where they might steal one at home. But like I said, everything about Calgary right now. The only concern, obviously, is the goaltending. If something happens where Mike Smith is a little bit shaky, even then David Riddick has been formidable enough. Maybe he can make a nice playoff run. But other than that, I mean, top to bottom, you look at these 4 lines that can roll and do anything they need to get done. great defenseman. Mark Giordano, definitely a Norris Trophy candidate. I think he should possibly win the thing. So you got just a stacked lineup where Colorado, we've been talking about how top-heavy Colorado is all year long. Like I said, the goaltending's a bit shaky. If Grubauer kind of gets a little weak like he did last year. He kind of done the same thing. Last year when he was in Washington, he picked up the slack where Holtby left off, and then he got shelled after a couple of games in that first-round series, and it was Holtby down the stretch. Well, he doesn't have a Holtby to back him out this year. He's got Semyon Varlamov, a guy who doesn't have the greatest track record in the playoffs either. So Calgary in 5, that's what I'm looking at here.
Guys, make sure to listen to Morning Joe today. It's me and Drew. We talk baseball. Andrew, what do you like in this Calgary-Colorado series?
Yeah, I think Colorado can steal one game. That's probably about it. I like them 4-1. Plus 350 it is for them to win in 5. Guys, all I really have to say on this, I'll keep it short and sweet. Over every single game in the playoffs, this Calgary Flames team. In my lifetime, since I've been doing this, the NHL has changed. Things have evolved. Playoffs used to mean lower scoring, but I'm telling you, this Calgary team, if they're going to be successful, they're going to have to average 4 goals a game, if that. Their defense. Everyone talks about how great they are and how they can jump into the rush, but as we all know, players that jump into the rush, that means odd man rushes the other way. I think we can all say, and you've seen so many media people crapping all over the goaltending for them. But the fact is, it has gotten better, but it's more so just not even just their goaltending. It's the position that the players put their goaltenders in, really. And they kind of leave them out to dry sometimes. And if you go back and look at some of that footage, a lot of the times, they're getting scored on it late in games. It's not really their fault. It's the defenseman's fault or the players for not back checking. But it's like you guys said. I mean, line for line right now, this Calgary team is so deep. I hate to be a broken record and use the term top heavy, but that really is what this Colorado team is. And you look at Calgary, you've got Sam Bennett, Frolik, Backlund, Kachuk, Lindholm, Monahan, Gaudreau, just so many guys that can score. I'll be betting the over a lot in this series. And as far as a little series bet, I'll go Calgary 4-1.
Carm?
Yeah, there's not much here. The Flames are just terrific at home. They've won 9 of the last 10 at home. I think between these two, the other one was like an OT loss.
Who's holding your notes, Carm?
What's that? I'm holding my notes.
You're holding
It's just me. Yeah, they'll get a game. The thing about the Flames here is, and I talked about, defensively, it's magnified in the playoffs. I always believe so, and it's sort of the way I'm looking at my picks, at least in the first round. I've said it in previous shows. I'm not sold on the Calgary goaltenders, Rittich and Smith. They're going to have to get very hot. All right. It just got quieter. That's great. Smith has got to go on a run. He's got to play extremely well to get them to win, get them wins. And it's going to come, maybe not here, but how they play defensively, how their goaltenders do is going to matter in that round 2 when they take on either the Sharks or the Golden Knights. I see the Flames rolling over Colorado here, but I'm telling you right now, if they're playing the Sharks in round 2, I'm taking the Sharks.
He's Carmine. Andrew and Alex are with us. It's puck time, and it's time to talk about the only team that counts.
The Sabres aren't in the playoffs.
Leafs in 4, plus 600. Alex?
Sorry, let me unmute myself. Yeah, you said in 600. You said
Leafs in 4, full on sweep.
Nah,
Boston. Who do they have? Marchand, Krejci, best face-off guy in history of the world, Bergeron, crappy goalie, 48-year-old tall defenseman, no coaching, ugly uniforms, shitty team. Okay, in all seriousness, this is going to be a way closer series than Carmine believes. And I actually think the Leafs are going to shock the world. But at plus 125, not even I will take them.
Yeah, the way I would look at this, I would be playing the series game total over 6.5 games. I think this goes 7 like we've seen it go before, and all bets are truly off when these two teams meet up in a game 7 of the playoffs. There's no telling what could happen. Usually, more often than not, Prez, unfortunately, as you know, Toronto usually doesn't get the best of the Bruins. But this is a Bruins team, like you said, they are loaded with a lot of talent here, and they still have enough of that veteran presence we've seen from years past to where I think they have a good blend of veterans and youthfulness where they can make a move here and make a deep run in the playoffs. I think Boston takes care of business in 7 games.
Andrew?
The thing is, Brett, I love you're optimistic about it being a longer series, and I think it will be. The problem is what has changed? What has changed from last year to this year? And that's what you have to look at realistically. What has changed? You pick up John Tavares. You've made a couple
minor change. Getting John Tavares, real minor.
Yeah. But what about defense? Because that's the only thing that
the Leafs defense rocks. They've lulled the whole league to sleep. They're like, score, boys, score. We're going to make the playoffs. Everyone's going to think we suck.
Exactly.
Then we shut them down.
Exactly.
Shut them down.
Just like Carm was saying, when you guys are planning your parade, you should be planning on finding a new defenseman because all you guys do is hate on Gardner and all these guys.
I love Gardner.
Yeah, you love him now until he falls again and a 2-on-1 ends up losing you guys the series. But
okay, enough. Enough. Who do you like?
What? I like Boston to win the East at plus 550.
Okay. Carm, I don't want to hear from you. Vegas Golden Knights. I don't want to hear one word. Not one word. Nobody is interested in your thoughts on the Leafs.
I'm actually not going to talk about the Leafs. I'm going to talk about the Bruins. So let's start there. All right. When is the last time the Leafs won in Boston? They have to overcome this thing where mentally they go into Boston and they just lay an egg. They've lost 6 of their last 7 visits to Boston.
Set up. They're setting them up.
They've allowed 5.29 goals per game allowed.
Set up.
Yeah, set up. Absolutely. So once they get rid of Frederik Andersen, who do you guys bring in? Sparks is injured. Hutchinson, who do you bring in? Maybe bring back Palmateer.
I would
that
love
old school mask.
Bring back Palmateer. He's a real estate agent in Toronto right now.
I am taking the Bruins in series games minus a game and a half plus 160, and I'm taking the Bruins to win the series 4-1 at plus 432.
Wow.
Yeah.
You might as well just get in your car and drive over to Prez's house and slap him. Oh my goodness.
They absolutely listen. These guys, we have a WhatsApp group of about 30 people, 29 are Leaf fans, and they just absolutely hate it when I post these memes and pictures. And 1967, you guys didn't even have color TV the last time.
Enough. Guys, we got to get moving. Vegas Golden Knights, San Jose Sharks, even money all the way. Listen, here's the bottom line for me. San Jose backed themselves into the playoffs. Vegas Knights have been playing really good hockey the last third of the season. And I think the Vegas Golden Knights are too fast for the Sharks team. My lean is on Vegas Golden Knights. But I think this is going to go 7 games, guys, plus 190. But I do like the Vegas Knights coming through. Carm?
Yeah, listen, these both teams are limping into the playoffs. Sharks lost 7 of 8. Oh, sorry, the Knights lost 7 of their last 8. Sharks 7 of the last 10. But, the Knights get Fleury back. He's back in net. It's obviously going to help that team. This is a complete coin flip. They split the season series 2-2. They're going to win on each other's home ice. It's just another one like that Islanders-Penn series. And to try and pick a definitive winner, I think is really tough. I'm leaning with the Sharks, though. I think the Sharks are going to make a cup run. It's Sharks for me over the Knights.
Alex?
No, the only way I'm looking here is Vegas. I mean, you boil it down, it's Marc-Andre Fleury versus Martin Jones. Which goaltender would you trust? Definitely not Martin Jones.
Frederik Andersen, of course.
Right, of course. But with this series, I mean, you got the speed of Vegas against. We talked about it all year how slow San Jose is. They're methodical. Like I said, once they get into the offensive zone, they can make some moves. But I think the speed is going to be too much. I think the goaltending is going to be too much. I like Vegas here in this spot.
Andrew?
I like Vegas as well. I mean, there's value on taking them to win in 6 and 7. But again, I talk about size so much, but you look at the matchup here. Like you said, Prez, the speed is undoubtedly in favor of Vegas. Goaltending wise, Vegas. And you look at, the San Jose lineup, though. You got guys like Nyquist, Hurdle, Couture. Those guys they're soft. They're soft as anything. And they're going to, I don't care if you're 6'6" and you're 200 pounds. It doesn't mean you're a tough guy. And that's what describes the San Jose Sharks team.
That's how we describe you, dude.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. But, you've got guys, even like Timo Meier.
Andrew cut out.
It's because you called him soft.
Well, listen, it is what it is, right? Let's just get to the next one. Carolina against Washington. Washington is minus 155. Alex, I'll go to you first. I think that's the best bet on the board series-wise, period.
Yeah, I mean, you can find a minus 148 at Bet Online for that series. And if you think it's going to be a complete domination, you can get 10-1 and Washington to sweep. I do think Carolina ends up stealing a game here. We've seen Washington kind of sleepwalk through a couple of these first-round series before. They took Toronto to 6 games in a series where they could have really dominated. We see, like I said, Washington is just a team that this is old hat for them. We saw them; they were down 0-2 last year against Columbus and came back and ran through. So I could see Carolina stealing at least 1, maybe 2 games. So I would look at this probably go. If you'd be laying a bit of juice here, but over 5.5 games, minus 190, something. I think this is going to go 6 or 7 games. So Washington 6 plus 500 would probably be even a bit of the best of the bets.
Don't love that bet though, Alex. Minus 190 is too much, and I'll tell you why. I think if Washington wins the first 2 games, I think Carolina might call it a day. It's just too much money to lay on over 5.5 from my perspective. Carm?
Yeah, listen, Carolina's had a good season. I don't think a lot of people expected them to make the playoffs. But listen, you look at this line, and the line is low, which sometimes can scare you. But I think it's Washington in this series. They won all 4 games during the regular season between these two. Like I said earlier, I took Washington a futures bet at 11-1 a couple days ago along with St. Louis. I expect Washington, even though Tampa's the best team in the league, I'm expecting Washington to return to the Cup Finals again. I think they're getting hot at the right time. They'll get by Carolina. Maybe Carolina wins a game 4-1. Washington wins it on home ice. I'm looking at Washington to make another deep run here. So obviously Washington minus 155 for me.
Guys, last series is Dallas versus Nashville, and I've been telling you guys this for the last month. I don't want to play Dallas. Ben is incredible in net. Their defense from a position perspective is as perfect as it gets. They've got a line that can score anytime, any place. If they're on a power play, they roll out Ben. This team is scary. I would not want to be Nashville. Dallas is plus 155. Nashville is minus 175. And Dallas is my dog of the first round. I am taking the Stars at plus 155. Carm?
No, not for me. Listen, Preds were a weird team throughout the year. They started absolutely fantastic. Then they went like 9 or 10 games on the road where they lost, I think, 9 or 10 or 11 games in a row on the road. And I know it had to do with injuries as well, too. Subban was out. But, you know what I mean? Like, listen, they finished strong. They won 5 of the last 6. And they're the type of team with some good goaltending and good defense that, can actually just, they can literally just pick up steam in the playoffs and make a deep run. I absolutely think so. So, Yeah, Dallas as well. I think if you're playing these games in this series, I think you have to look at unders in this series.
Yeah, I agree.
You're literally gonna see 5s and 5.5s out there pretty much. I think it's gonna be pretty much 5s the whole way through in this series. I don't think you're gonna see you'll see the occasional 5.5, but it'll be shaded with a lot of juice on the under. For me, it's Nashville to win the series, probably in 5 again. But I'm going to be betting a lot of totals in under in this series.
I think we're going to see a lot of very close games, and I think we're going to see a lot of OT games in this series. Alex?
Yep, I agree with you completely. I'm on the Stars. I was able to grab plus 160. I think, like I said, with having the Bishop factor there, it's just a price that's good enough to where I think they'll be able to steal the series. Bishop could steal a couple of games, but I already bet game 1 to go into overtime plus 285. I think we're going to see quite a few of these games going to OT like we saw in the regular season. Pecorino is not going to give up much of anything. Same with Bishop. We might even see a 4.5 total, which is something we used to see in the playoffs back in the days with the Kings and Blues series and so forth.
Yeah.
If both these goalies are really hot right now. But I think we're going to see a lot of OT games here, and I think that starts with game 1 tomorrow.
He's Alex. I'm the Prez. Carm with us. Andrew just dropped out. He's in Punta Cana, and he's having Wi-Fi issues. Guys, let's take a look quickly at who's going to win the whole thing. Great show so far. Use the promo code CUP99, $99 for any one of us for the entire playoffs. And guys, that's like bordering on free, man. All 4 of us are going to win in the playoffs this season. $99. I mean, we're selling our dailies at 20, so 5 days and you're already paid your $99. Guys, let's take a look at the futures to win it all, and let's just put the Toronto Maple Leafs aside, because at plus 1,800, clearly that's the best value out there. Clearly, it's the most likely thing that will happen. So let's just move the Leafs aside. I think the best value period is Boston. Plus 900, plus 1,000, depending on where you can get that line. I think we saw them play Tampa Bay really tight the last few games. Taking Tampa Bay at plus 180 seems absurd to me. They got to win 16 games and you're barely getting any money. I think Boston at plus 900, Calgary at plus 700, and the Winnipeg Jets at plus 1,400 seem to me to be the best value on the board. Alex?
I agree with you completely. I have Boston winning this whole thing. I like them at plus 900. I also would be looking at, if any props that will pop up once the series starts. For the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, I look at Tuukka Rask. He should be probably somewhere in the 15-20-1 range to win the Conn Smythe. I think he's going to have to play outstanding hockey down the stretch in order for the team to make this run, which I think he will. Like I said, it's loaded with young talent, loaded with veteran talent, forwards and defensemen alike. So I like Boston here, but also looking at Calgary too. I think Calgary, I like I said, it's hard to trust in Mike Smith, but I just got a really solid gut feeling that this lineup will be able to back him up enough. I think we're going to see a lot from this defensive core in front of him. I think Calgary has enough in the tank. They have enough offense to make it through their quadrant in the West, and I think they're going to be able to win the Campbell Conference Bowl. So I like Calgary and Boston to meet up in the final. You can find that series price at plus 14-1. Excuse me. And I like Boston plus 900 to win it all.
Carm?
Yeah, listen, I already told you in the East, I took Washington plus 1,100. Yeah, defending Cup champs. So you're looking at them to go back to back. I think it's a positive, the fact that they're in the bottom half of that bracket. So once they get by the Hurricanes, they play the winner of the Islanders and Pens. So you sort of avoid the Lightning. If you figure the Lightning are making it to the conference finals, you avoid them until you get to the conference finals. And at that point, they could be a little beaten up having played the Bruins and maybe a tough one against Columbus. I don't expect the Caps-Hurricanes game to be a physical one. When they play the winner of the Islanders-Pens, I don't expect that to be a physical one either. And they're all series that could be decided somewhat early, 5-6 games, whereas the Lightning, when they're playing the Bruins, or should your Leafs upset the Bruins, it's a longer series. So Washington plus 1,100, I'll take that. Make it to the conference finals, and I'm a big guy on hedging. You know that. You get the right price, you can always hedge it out later. In the West, I took the Blues, and I would add probably the Prez. Blues are plus 1,400, Prez are plus 12.5 to 1, and it's similar to the same thing. You know, they're in the, I think, the easier side of the bracket. You got Preds playing the Stars. If you think the Preds are going to win, like I do, they're going to face the winner of the Blues and Jets. So it's a little easier there. The bottom half has, Flames, Sharks, Golden Knights. So if you're going to face one of those, you're better off facing them in the conference finals, I think. But it's one of those things where the Preds, even the Preds, like I said, 12.5, could gain. It's that momentum thing. You just start winning. You knock out the Stars. You knock out the Jets or Blues. All of a sudden, you're in the conference finals, and you're likely a favorite against any one of those three teams if you're rested and playing extremely well. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, playoff time, I'm a big proponent of defenses being magnified, and I'm going with teams that have good defenses and solid goaltending.
He's Carm. I'm the Prez. Alex Badass Smith. The show is over. We'll be back tomorrow to discuss the games on tap. Lots of games going tomorrow night. Guys, thanks for a great show. Alex, thanks again for hosting this past week. And go Leafs, go. We'll speak to you later, boys. Thanks, everyone.
Good luck, guys.
All right.